All right, all right, all right. We're back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. As usual, I'm your host, Mark Pierce. How are you doing today? It is September 9th, Wednesday. We're excited about Wednesdays here at Song of the Day, aren't we? Because we do an artist maybe spotlight that you haven't heard of, or maybe you only heard of, but not only a couple of songs. Um, you get the gist. We're doing 150 episodes and we throw some stuff out there. Sometimes it's a band you know and you just haven't really spent time listening to, or sometimes it's totally someone you know nothing about, and so you're going to give that person a chance. And I'm looking so forward to today's episode. But first and foremost, I have another birthday in the family. Yet another 80th birthday. My own father, Dad, turned 80 today. Happy birthday. Hope all's well in Florida. My dad's music tastes, I did grow up with listening to those reel-to-reels. Anyone else have reel-to-reels in their house? He had recorded 50s and 60s music on that reel-to-reel on a radio station. I think it was out of California, but it had all the commercials and the DJs, and I thought that was awesome. So anyway, happy birthday to you, Dad. So what are we doing today? Birthday yesterday, 60 years old, none other than Aimee Mann. And Aimee Mann is just staple in our household, family, and friends. We just love this person, and we've been listening to her for 20 years. Just absolutely in love with Aimee Mann and her music. What a writer. She is recognized as one of this generation's, her generation's just strongest songwriters. And what a talent. Awesome to see in concert. She's just, I love her voice. And she's quirky and funny and just everything about her. We love everything about Aimee Mann. So can't wait to talk about her. Anyway, 60 years old. Why would you know who she is? If it sounds familiar, maybe you don't know it, but she was the lead singer and bass player for the band Till Tuesday. That's why you know her, because of that song, Voices Carry, that was all over the MTV in the summer of 1985. So who is she? She grew up in Virginia, Bon Air, Virginia, and then went to high school in Richmond, went to Berklee College of Music, dropped out, joined a band called the Young Snakes, who put out exactly one EP in 1982, and then she forms Till Tuesday with her classmate and boyfriend. In 83, they form Till Tuesday. They break up and she writes that song. One of the first songs she ever wrote was Voices Carry. It is about an abusive relationship, but that song was just all over the place. Everyone just loved that song. I think she's sick of that song. She does not play that song in concert very often, and when she does, she usually breaks it down into something more acoustic. She's been called, her music has been called melancholy, and that's pretty true. So you have to be in a certain mood or desire to listen to such things. But boy, her music is so good. And when she put out one of her albums, later albums, her friend said to her, "So what's your album about?" And she's like, "Oh, the usual mental illness and all that stuff." And she's like, "Well, why don't you call it mental illness?" And she was joking about it, but she said, "That's a great idea." So she did, but I get ahead of myself, don't I? So they're in Till Tuesday. They put out their second record. And she's 24 years old. She had, at the time, and they hit huge with that. They put out a second record. They were totally excited about it. Thought it was better than the first one. They give it to the label, Epic Records, and they're like, "This is different than your other one. We don't care if it's better. It's not the same as this other one you put out. So we don't want it. We don't know what to do with this. There's no single on here, or there's not the same record." And she's like, "I don't understand. If something's better, then you should want to sell it." But anyway, that was their introduction to the record business, and it wasn't a very good one. And by the time they put out their third record, it was just dead on arrival, because there was just a massive, massive problem with distribution, labels, new executives. It was this whole thing that happened. So, and by 1990, they had broken up, and she's like, "I don't want to do pop music. I want to do acoustic guitar." So what happened? 1998. So that was the first label problem, and then she does go out and she becomes solo. Again, getting ahead of myself. She goes solo, and on her first solo record is Imago Records, and that album's called Whatever, and that gets a lot of acclaim. Critics love it. Just doesn't sell, that great. That has the song "Save Me" on it, right? Second one, I'm with Stupid, 95. She's with Geffen at this point, and that's a great record too, and that has some wonderful songs on it. But Long Shot is the one that I was introduced to first, and that's the one that must have been playing on the radio. I mean, how can you not love a song that starts with "You effed it up," right? I mean, that's just a great first line. So what happens? She's got a third solo album coming around. She did the soundtrack to Magnolia in '99, which got her an Academy and a Grammy nomination for Wise Up. So she was on the upside on that. But she had a third solo album, and that's when everything hit the fan in '98. So Magnolia was just around that time, just right during after that time. But '98, Seagram owned Universal Music Group. They bought Polygram, merged it into a giant 25% of all music in the United States and Europe, and they promised the shareholders that they would save $300 million a year. So they did so by firing 3,000 employees and 200 bands. And Geffen was swallowed up by Interscope, which was Geffen was who she was on at that time. So swallowed up by Interscope. Interscope was famous for rap music at that time. They didn't know what to do, or they got kicked to Interscope, and they sat on it for months and months and months, and then they finally passed on it. I mean, so she was just stuck in this, like, she had a record done, but like it was just this awful experience. And the Magnolia soundtrack was a highlight there. She did, before that, a few years before that, she did sing a song with Rush and Geddy Lee. She was in the song Time Stands Still, and she's actually in that video. They paid her $2,000 to do that. So anyway, if you know that song, she was in that. They were going to get Cyndi Lauper first, and then Chrissie Hynde, and they got her, and they like her voice the best in the end. So she's doing Lil Affair in the late 90s. She marries Michael Penn, Sean Penn's brother, in '97. It's just this contract thing was just a huge problem. I mean, it was just getting that record out. She had to finally negotiate getting out of her contract and use her own money to buy out her contract. I mean, it was just a terrible thing that happened. And she decided to basically put out that record on her own on her website. Around that time, she starts doing Tuesday night shows at Largo, this place in West Hollywood, and that's where you could see Fiona Apple, Rufus Wainwright, Grant Lee Phillips, Ricky Lee Jones, Colin Hay from Men at Work, my brother and sister-in-law, Caroline and Stephen. I think that's where they've seen her a lot. They get to see her. They have gotten to see her Christmas show there a lot. They're big fans as well. But she put out this record. I remember this in 2000. This record turned 20 years old. She put out her third solo album, and it was Bachelor No. 2. And The Last Remains of the Dodo is actually the longest title of it. And I remember I was waiting for this to come out. I was so excited for this record to come out, and it finally came out. You had to order it on her website. She was one of the first artists ever to sell an album only from your website, and she sold 25,000 copies, and she got a lot of great press out of that, and eventually got put out. She formed her own label, Super Ego Records, and it sold 250,000 copies. And that's a great record. If you don't know anything about Aimee Mann, just buy Bachelor No. 2 and you will get it. You will just totally get her, and it is an awesome record. And from there, she just took off as far as we were concerned. We just bought everything that she ever put out. She put out Lost in Space in 2002. 2004, Live at St. Anne's Warehouse. Now again, if you don't know anything about her, just pull up Live at St. Anne's Warehouse, the DVD, CD, on YouTube if it's there. The whole concert is a series of concerts recorded in Brooklyn, and that just tells you who she is. That's just like a huge greatest hits of all of her stuff. Shows off her performances. It's got a lot of her songs from Bachelor No. 2, but a lot of the other ones that we're talking about. And so your job is to watch Live at St. Anne's Warehouse. After that, 2005, she puts out The Forgotten Arm. And then 2006, One More Drifter in the Snow. One of my favorite Christmas records to come out in years. I don't listen to new Christmas music. I just don't. I listen to 50s and 60s music for Christmas, but this one is awesome, and I play this every Christmas multiple times over. Her version of The Grinch is out of this world. I'm gonna have to post it, but that's a good one. So anyway, 2008. How do you? It's like Blank Smilers. It's like F Smilers is the name of it. 2012, Charmer. We got Charmer right here. Caroline and Steven. They got to meet her after a show or the signing, and there it is. To Mark. Love Amy. Anyway, and then we got 2017, Mental Illness. That got her second Grammy. Great song. So we got all kinds of songs. I don't know how to pick songs. I'm going to just throw some out there. But the other part, the two more things to say about her is a Portlandia episode that we love to quote is, if you watch Portlandia, there's an episode where they walk in and they're like, hey, I think that's Aimee Mann cleaning our house. And it's Aimee Mann cleaning their house. So they're all geeked out about it. And it's this whole thing where they try to talk to her about what fans they are and what a drag it is about the music industry. But they also like criticize her for her cleaning ability. It's hysterically funny. And then in the end, Sarah McLachlan is also cleaning there. Anyway, it's just this whole thing. If you ever get a chance to see that, pull it up. Also, as far as posters go in this house, this is another favorite one in the house. It's upstairs. Let's see if we can get at this to show off here. I love this poster right here. This is great. One of my favorite posters in the whole house. I think Sarah thinks it's a little creepy looking as far as Halloweenish because of that castle there, but I like it, and it hangs up year round. So obviously we're big fans. Songs, The Moth, Calling It Quits, Sugarcoat. I mean, basically going through the motion. It's Humpty Dumpty, Wise Up. I mean, obviously Wise Up. If you don't know Wise Up, that's where you start with that one. Save Me, of course. Long Shot. The 4th of July. I mean, there's so many songs. We're just Satellite. How Am I Different? Calling It Quits. Nothing is Good Enough. I mean, we go on and on and on. So we're at 11 and a half minutes on Aimee Mann. But start listening to her. I'm going to put a bunch down there. But if you're going to start with anything, play Bachelor No. 2 and then watch her live concert live at St. Anne's Warehouse. You'll be a better person because of it. If you like singer-songwriters, Aimee Mann is where it at. She is so cool, so good. I can't wait to see her again if she comes around. I can't wait for new music. Thanks for sticking with me because I've been waiting for this one for a long time. Big fans. Aimee, if you're out there, if you're watching, can't wait to see you. Hit me up. Love your music. All right, have a great Wednesday. We're at 12 minutes. About what I thought. Enjoy your day, and as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.